Hey there, innovation champions. Melissa Dinwiddie here. Picture this. You're staring at a pile of half-finished projects, abandoned initiatives, and ideas that once seemed brilliant, but now feel like reminders of failure. Sound familiar? Well, let me tell you about my own pile of innovation debris and the surprising discovery that changed everything. I knew that I had a book in me, and I also knew that the only way to get it out was to write. So I wrote for months. Every morning I would hop on my computer or crack open my journal and I would get some words out. Pages and pages of thoughts and insights and half-formed ideas. But I wasn't sure where all this writing was heading. And without a clear vision, my energy eventually fizzled. The daily writing practice just kind of fell away, and that manuscript, if you can even call it a manuscript, joined the growing pile of abandoned projects in my digital drawer. Well, cut to about a year later, and a big birthday was staring me in the face, the big 5-0, and suddenly I knew what I needed to do. That book that I thought I'd been writing, that wasn't the book. There was another book that needed to come out about how to get past creative blocks using what I now refer to as my creative sandbox way principles. And now I had a deadline, my birthday. But that's not the interesting part. Here is where the story gets a lot more interesting. While that daily writing practice had fallen away, I had in the meantime developed a new habit, doodling every morning in bed with just a marker, just like one of these Pigma Micron markers, and a sketchbook. Nothing fancy, just playful marks on paper. And as I assembled and edited content from years of blog posts and podcast episodes into what would eventually become my published book, I made a kind of stunning discovery. All of those meaningless doodles that I'd been creating, I realized they were perfect as illustrations for the book. And what I thought was a failed writing project and a random drawing habit suddenly revealed themselves as two parts of the same innovation process. I just need a reset to see it. And this experience taught me something kind of profound about innovation that applies whether you're developing software or leading a team or solving complex business problems. Sometimes what looks like failure is actually preparation in disguise. So let me break this down using my Create the Impossible framework. If you've been following me at all, you know that my Create the Impossible framework has 3 steps, and we're going to go through them one at a time. So the first element of my framework is play hard. Approaching challenges with curiosity rather than judgment. When I looked at my abandoned writing project through this lens, instead of seeing failure, I started seeing raw material. Those months of exploratory writing, they hadn't been wasted. They'd been research, market research, audience research, and most importantly, research into what I actually wanted to say. The same principle applies to your abandoned innovation projects. What if that prototype that didn't work out taught you something crucial about, I don't know, user needs? Or what if that initiative that got shut down revealed important organizational dynamics? Your challenge? look at one project from the past year that feels like a failure and ask yourself, what did this teach us that we couldn't have learned any other way? So that's step one. Step two, second element of my framework is make crap. Giving yourself permission to create imperfect first attempts rather than waiting for perfection. So those morning doodles, they were the epitome of making crap. I wasn't trying to create masterpieces. I was just playing with marks on paper, following my curiosity, no attachment to the outcomes. I like to think about it as letting my inner 4-year-old inhabit the tip of the pen and giving her free rein to do whatever she wants. And my job is to be her bodyguard. And because I gave myself permission to make so-called meaningless art, really surprisingly, I inadvertently created something meaningful. I created a body of work that would ultimately become integral to my book. In innovation, we often get trapped thinking that every attempt must be good. But sometimes the most valuable innovations emerge from our willingness to kind of tinker without pressure. This was really true for me when I was a professional artist. I got really paralyzed by the idea that everything I made had to make money, everything I made had to be to please a client. And the truth is that the best work that I made was not the stuff that I made for clients. It was the stuff that I made when I let myself just follow my curiosity. So your challenge, what so-called meaningless experimentation could you give yourself permission to pursue? What would you create if you knew it didn't have to be good? All right, so that's step two. Step three, the third element of my framework is learn fast, extracting insights from every experience and connecting seemingly unrelated dots. The magic happened when I could see the pattern. My abandoned writing had given me the content foundation, and my daily doodling had given me the visual elements, and my approaching birthday had given me the deadline urgency. Steve Jobs called this connecting the dots looking backward. You can't plan these connections in advance, but you can create conditions where they're more likely to emerge. So your challenge, what seemingly unrelated activities in your organization might actually be pieces of the same innovation puzzle? So how do you harness this power of strategic reset for your own innovation challenges? Well, here's a practical protocol. Step one, inventory your failures. List the projects, the initiatives, the ideas from the past year that feel incomplete or feel unsuccessful. Don't judge them yet. Just catalog them. Then step two, play with perspectives. For each item on your list, ask, if this wasn't a failure, what was it? And look for the hidden value, the unexpected learning. Look for the seeds of future possibility. And then step three, connect the dots. Look across your inventory for patterns or connections or complementary elements. What combinations can you find that might create something new? And then finally, step four, choose your reset. Pick one failed project and commit to approaching it from a completely different angle. Maybe it wasn't wrong. Maybe it was just ahead of its time, or it needed different framing, or maybe it was actually solving a different problem than you thought. Here's what my book experience taught me. Sometimes the most innovative thing you can do is abandon your plan and trust the process. Not abandon your goals. Abandon your rigid attachment to how you thought you'd achieve them. My original writing project wasn't a failure. It was preparation. My random doodle habit wasn't procrastination, it was creation in disguise. But I only discovered this when I gave myself permission to reset, to see my abandoned work through fresh eyes, and to trust that innovation often emerges from unexpected combinations. So, your challenge for this week is to pick one project or initiative that feels stuck or abandoned, and instead of writing it off as a failure, approach it with curiosity and ask yourself, what did this teach us that we couldn't have learned any other way? What unexpected value might be hiding in what we've already created? And how might this failure actually be preparation for something better? Remember, innovation doesn't always follow the plan. Sometimes the most breakthrough discoveries come from combining what you thought was waste with what you thought was impossible. Your next innovation might be hiding in your pile of abandoned projects, just waiting for the right reset to reveal itself. Ready to transform your failed projects into innovation gold and master the art of strategic resets? Click the link in the description to book a complimentary innovation strategy session. Let's explore how the Create the Impossible framework can help you discover hidden value in abandoned initiatives and create a culture where every experiment, successful or not, becomes a stepping stone to breakthrough innovation. If you found these insights about strategic resets valuable, hit that like button and subscribe to join our community of innovation champions. Don't forget to ring that notification bell so you never miss a new strategy for driving creativity and innovation in your work. And I would love to know your thoughts on this topic. Have you ever discovered unexpected value in a project you thought was a failure? What abandoned initiative might actually be innovation gold waiting to be discovered? Or maybe you've successfully used a strategic reset to breathe new life into a stalled project. Share your reset stories in the comments below. Until next time, stay curious, stay playful, and keep creating the impossible. See you next time. Ciao.